The mountain lodge's great room fell silent as my son Michael stood before his wealthy in-laws on Christmas Eve, pointing at me dramatically. "Officers, please remove this parasite from my home," he announced, not knowing that my tablet was about to destroy his carefully crafted lies. Before I tell you how a 67-year-old forensic accountant taught his ungrateful son the most expensive lesson of his life, let me know in the comments, have you ever caught someone living a complete lie? My name is Robert Chen. For 35 years I worked as a forensic accountant and asset recovery specialist, tracking hidden money across 78 countries. Now I sat quietly in my own lodge, the one Michael told his in-laws he had bought with his startup millions. The police officers looked uncomfortable, shifting in their expensive room I'd actually paid for. Michael's wife Emma and her parents, the Andersons, watched in confusion. "This man is trespassing," Michael continued. "He's trying to steal my success." That's when the first notification chime rang out, clear and loud in the silent room. "What was that?" Emma's father asked. Another chime, and another. My tablet screen glowing with confirmation messages. Michael's rental payment authorization canceled. His Mercedes lease terminated. His platinum credit cards deactivated. Each cancellation announced by another cheerful chime. Michael's face started to change, recognition slowly dawning. He'd forgotten who had taught him about financial systems, who had spent decades dismantling complex money structures, who had written the original code for several banking security protocols. "Dad," he said, his voice suddenly uncertain, "what are you doing?" Another chime. His phone plan disconnected, his insurance policies canceled, his gym membership revoked. The kill switch algorithm I'd programmed executing perfectly, systematically erasing the fake life he'd built with my money. "Mr. Chen," one officer said, checking his tablet, "our records show you're the legal owner of this property." Michael's in-laws turned to stare at him, their perfect son-in-law starting to sweat. "Would you like to explain why you're trying to evict the actual homeowner?" the officer continued. But Michael was staring at his phone, watching notification after notification, every financial thread of his lie unraveling with each musical chime. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't about violence or drama. It's about showing people exactly what they are, one canceled payment at a time.
35 years in forensic accounting teaches you to follow the money, to see the patterns hidden in bank statements that others miss. My office at the FBI's Financial Crimes Unit had been on the 4th floor, where we tracked billions in hidden assets, exposed money laundering schemes, dismantled complex financial frauds. But now, at 67, I lived alone in my mountain lodge, the same one I'd bought after Sarah passed away. Sarah, my wife of 42 years. Cancer took her 3 winters ago. The lodge felt empty after that. 6 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, a great room with windows overlooking the snow-covered peaks, worth $3.8 million in today's market. Not that I'd ever sell it. Sarah had helped design every room. Michael moved in shortly after her funeral. "Just until my startup takes off, Dad," he'd said. His 3rd failed business venture that year. I'd spent my career tracking hidden money, following paper trails across continents, so I saw the signs immediately. The way he used my credit cards, the growing monthly allowance, the constant requests for emergency funds. Each amount carefully calculated to seem reasonable, but adding up to $78,000 annually. My security cameras caught everything, the same technology we'd used to monitor white-collar criminals. High-definition footage of Michael practicing his success story, rehearsing lies about his net worth, preparing for dinner with Emma's wealthy family. The Andersons owned hotel chains across 5 states, old money, real success. everything Michael pretended to be. The cameras recorded his late-night calls, his whispered boasts about the lodge being his promises to Emma about their future wealth. Each lie documented, each deception recorded, just like I'd done for decades at the FBI. Then came the meetings with real estate agents, Michael showing them around my home. "After I get rid of the old man," he'd say, not knowing about the microphones hidden in every room, the same equipment that had exposed countless financial frauds. His dependency grew worse after meeting Emma. Designer clothes, expensive restaurants, weekend trips, all charged to my accounts, all while telling her family he was a self-made millionaire. I started documenting everything, tracking every transaction, building the same kind of evidence files I'd used to prosecute financial criminals. Because in forensic accounting, the most dangerous fraud isn't the stranger trying to steal your money. It's the one sitting at your dinner table, calling you Dad, while planning to take everything you own.
Michael's transformation began the day he met Emma Anderson at a charity gala, an event I'd paid for him to attend. The security cameras caught their first conversation, him claiming to be a tech entrepreneur, her mentioning her family's hotel empire, the perfect target for his newest performance, the same pattern I'd documented in countless financial fraud cases. The lies started small. "My latest startup just got funding," he'd tell her, then grew bigger. "I'm looking at property in Aspen," until finally, "This mountain lodge, I bought it with my first $1 million. Each deception recorded by my home security system, the same technology we'd used to catch corporate embezzlers. Emma's family welcomed him warmly, a successful young man, a perfect match for their daughter. If only they knew about the $78,000 flowing from my accounts each year. The credit card statements told the real story. 5-star restaurants, designer suits, private jet rentals, all carefully timed before meetings with the Andersons, all paid for by his parasite father. The security footage caught him practicing his stories, rehearsing his success in front of mirrors, creating fake business documents on his laptop, the same techniques I'd seen criminals use to build false identities. His demands for money grew more frequent, more entitled. "Dad, I need $30,000 for a business opportunity. Dad, transfer $50,000 for a property deposit," all while telling Emma's family about his investment portfolio. The cameras caught him giving tours of my lodge. "I bought this place for the mountain views," he'd say, leading the Andersons through rooms Sarah had decorated, claiming credit for her design choices. My forensic training kicked in automatically, documenting every lie, recording every tour, building evidence just like I'd done at the FBI. Then came the engagement, a ring bought with my emergency credit card, a proposal planned in my great room. The Andersons celebrating their daughter's match with a successful entrepreneur, not knowing that their future son-in-law couldn't even pay his own phone bill. The wedding was set for Christmas Eve, here at his mountain lodge, the perfect setting for his biggest performance yet. But he forgot something crucial, forgot that I'd spent 3 decades exposing financial frauds, that every transaction leaves a trail, that every lie creates a pattern, and that sometimes the best way to expose a fraud is to let them build their own trap. The moment everything changed came on a cold autumn evening. My security system activated at exactly 7 in the evening, recording Michael in the great room with Emma's father. "This lodge must have cost a fortune," Mr. Anderson said, admiring the mountain views. "My first major investment," Michael replied smoothly, "after my tech company sold for millions." The hidden microphones caught every word, every lie. the same way we'd caught financial criminals in my FBI days. But what came next changed everything. "What about your father?" Mr. Anderson asked. "Living here must be difficult." Michael's laugh turned cold. "That parasite? He's just jealous of my success." The words echoed through my security speakers, each syllable recorded in perfect clarity. "I let him stay out of pity," Michael continued, "but after the wedding, he's gone." The cameras caught his expression, the same look I'd seen on countless fraudsters' faces, complete confidence in their own lies. I sat in my study, watching the footage, the same room where I'd tracked billions in hidden assets, where I'd dismantled international fraud schemes, now using those skills to document my own son's betrayal. The evidence mounted daily. Security footage of Michael showing real estate agents around, once we evict the old man. Phone recordings of conversations with lawyers. How quickly can we force him out? Each betrayal documented, each plan recorded, just like I'd done for 35 years. The final straw came when he started transferring larger sums, 50,000 here, 70,000 there, all while telling the Andersons about his investment strategy. My forensic accounting training kicked in automatically, tracing money flows, documenting transfers, building the same kind of case files that had exposed countless financial criminals. The security system caught him practicing his Christmas Eve speech, standing in front of the mirror, rehearsing how he'd humiliate me in front of everyone, not knowing that every word was being recorded, every gesture captured, every plan documented. That's when I started writing the kill switch algorithm, the same kind of program we'd use to freeze criminal assets, but this version was special, designed to dismantle a life built on lies, one notification at a time. Because in forensic accounting, the most satisfying cases aren't just about following the money. They're about letting people expose themselves. And sometimes, the best way to teach a lesson is to let someone build their own downfall. The investigation phase activated with the same precision I'd used for 3 decades at the FBI. My home office became a command center. Multiple monitors tracking every financial transaction, every credit card swipe, every bank transfer. The same setup we'd used to dismantle billion-dollar fraud schemes. The numbers told a devastating story. $78,000 annual allowance, $112,000 in credit card debt, $43,000 in lease payments, all flowing from my accounts. The security system recorded everything. Michael's phone calls to luxury car dealers. Yes, I'm a successful tech entrepreneur. His meetings with wedding planners. Money is no object. His tours of the lodge with caterers. My first real estate investment. Each lie captured in high definition. Each deception archived with professional precision. I created spreadsheets tracking every expense, the same templates we'd use to prosecute financial criminals. Restaurant bills averaging $4,000 monthly, designer clothes worth $35,000, private jet rentals totaling $97,000, all while he called me parasite behind my back. The hidden cameras caught his practice sessions, rehearsing stories about his success, creating fake business documents, even practicing his signature as owner of my lodge. My forensic software traced every transaction, every digital footprint, every financial lie, building a case file that would make any FBI auditor proud. The evidence mounted in perfect chronological order, security footage, bank statements, audio recordings, all synchronized to show the complete picture of deception. Installed additional cameras in the great room, upgraded the microphones in the kitchen, added sensors to his office, the same technology we'd used to monitor white-collar criminals. His laptop revealed everything: emails to lawyers about eviction, messages to real estate agents, plans for renovations after removing me. Each document cataloged, each plan recorded, each betrayal documented with federal-grade precision. The investigation expanded. His fake business contacts, his borrowed luxury cars, his rehearsed success stories, all leading to Christmas Eve, all building toward the moment when his carefully constructed fraud would collapse. Because in forensic accounting, the most satisfying cases aren't just about finding evidence, they're about letting the numbers tell their own story. And sometimes, the best way to expose a fraud is to let them think they're too clever to get caught. The preparation phase began 3 weeks before Christmas Eve, my home office humming with the same energy that had powered countless FBI operations. 6 monitors displaying different aspects of the kill switch program, each line of code designed to dismantle Michael's financial facade. The algorithm needed to be perfect, synchronized to deactivate everything simultaneously: bank accounts, credit cards, phone plans, leases, all connected through my custom-designed software, the same technology we'd used to freeze criminal assets worldwide. I started with the banking protocols, writing scripts to cancel automatic payments, testing them on dummy accounts, verifying response times. Each test recorded and analyzed, just like we'd done during major financial investigations. The security system underwent upgrades: new cameras installed in the great room, high-sensitivity microphones hidden in decorative fixtures, the same equipment that had exposed corporate fraud rings. My tablet received special modifications, custom notification sounds, clear, distinct chimes that would cut through any conversation. Each cancellation would have its own tone, a symphony of financial destruction. The timing had to be precise. Michael had invited 38 guests for Christmas Eve, including Emma's entire family, 2 police officers he'd arranged to remove me, all witnesses to his ultimate humiliation. I programmed the sequence carefully: rent cancellation first, then car lease, then insurance, then credit cards. Each notification timed 3 seconds apart, maximum psychological impact. The same techniques we'd use to pressure financial criminals. The evidence files were organized perfectly: bank statements, transfer records, security footage, all ready to display on the great room's television. His lies documented in chronological order, his betrayal preserved in high definition. I ran system checks daily, testing network connections, verifying access protocols, ensuring every digital trigger would respond instantly, the same preparation that had taken down international money launderers. Michael's Christmas Eve plans played on my security footage, him rehearsing his speech, practicing his confrontation, planning my removal from my own home, not knowing that every word was being recorded, every gesture documented, every plan incorporated into my counter strategy. The kill switch program underwent final testing, each component verified, each response timed, each outcome confirmed. Because in forensic accounting, the most devastating evidence isn't just numbers on a page, it's the systematic dismantling of a carefully constructed lie. I installed backup systems, secondary servers, alternative network connections, the same redundancy we'd used in federal investigations. The great room's audio system was calibrated perfectly. Each chime would echo off of vaulted ceilings, each notification would command attention, each cancellation would announce his downfall. Michael's fake documents were archived, his practiced speeches recorded, his planned humiliation of me preserved, all ready to be turned against him. The final checks confirmed everything: kill switch program loaded, evidence files prepared, backup systems ready, all waiting for the moment when his greatest performance would become his ultimate exposure. Because sometimes, the best revenge isn't about violence or threats, it's about letting someone's own lies become their undoing, one notification chime at a time.
Christmas Eve morning dawned clear and cold in the mountains. The lodge's security systems activated with the first light, recording Michael's early preparations, his final rehearsal of lies, his last-minute calls to the police.
everything captured in perfect digital clarity, the same way we'd monitored suspects before major financial raids. I positioned myself in my study, tablet charged, kill switch program ready, evidence files organized, the same setup I'd used during 3 decades of forensic accounting. The guests began arriving at 4 in the evening. Emma's family first, the Andersons stepping into the great room, admiring Michael's property, their voices picked up by hidden microphones, their movements tracked by concealed cameras, just like tracking persons of interest in federal cases. Michael played his role perfectly, the successful entrepreneur, the generous host, the wealthy son-in-law, not knowing that every boast was being recorded, every lie documented, every gesture preserved. The security footage showed him checking his phone constantly, waiting for confirmation from the police, planning my humiliation down to the minute. But he'd forgotten something crucial. Forgotten who had designed banking security protocols, who had tracked hidden assets across continents, who had written the original code for financial tracking systems. The kill switch program hummed quietly on my tablet, each component verified, each trigger tested, each response confirmed, the same preparation that had brought down billion-dollar fraud schemes. The great room filled with guests, 38 witnesses to what was about to unfold, the cameras catching every angle, the microphones recording every conversation. Michael's confidence growing with each passing minute, his performance reaching its peak. "Welcome to my home," he announced to the gathering, the same line he'd practiced in front of mirrors, the same lie he'd repeated countless times. The police officers arrived at 6:30, right on schedule, their body cameras adding to my collection of evidence. Michael's plan moving forward exactly as he'd imagined, but not as I'd programmed, because in forensic accounting, the most satisfying moments aren't just about finding fraud. They're about letting the evidence present itself. The trap was set perfectly. Kill switch program armed, audio system calibrated, evidence files ready, all waiting for the moment when Michael would trigger his own downfall. One final check of the systems, one last verification of the program, one more test of the notification sounds, everything prepared for the moment when 38 guests, 2 police officers, and 1 arrogant son would learn the true meaning of financial justice.
The execution phase activated precisely as the evening reached its peak. Michael standing in the great room, surrounded by his wealthy in-laws. The police officers positioned near the door. Everything recorded by my security systems. The same setup that had captured countless financial criminals. "Officers," Michael announced, his voice carrying across the silent room, "please remove this parasite from my home." The moment he'd practiced, the humiliation he'd planned, but not the outcome he expected. I sat quietly in my leather chair, tablet ready, kill switch program humming, the same calm I'd felt before major FBI raids. The first notification chime rang out, clear and sharp in the quiet room. Michael's rental payment authorization canceled. His face flickered slightly, recognition beginning. Another chime. His Mercedes lease terminated, the sound echoing off the vaulted ceilings. Each tone designed to command attention, just like the alerts we'd used in federal operations. The notifications continued. Credit cards deactivated, insurance policies canceled, phone service terminated, each chime announcing another piece of his fake life crumbling. The same systematic dismantling we'd used on financial fraud networks. "Dad," Michael's voice cracked, "what are you doing?" But the program continued. Gym membership, streaming services, restaurant accounts, everything purchased with my money, everything built on lies, all disappearing with musical precision. The police officers checked their tablets. Property records appearing. Ownership confirmation. The same documentation we'd used to expose false assets. "Mr. Chen," one officer said, "our records show you're the legal owner of this property." The great room fell silent. 38 guests watching. Security cameras recording. Every moment preserved in high definition. I stood slowly, tablet displaying the final sequence. "Michael," I said quietly, "would you like to explain to your in-laws how a successful tech entrepreneur can't afford his own phone bill?" The television screen came to life. Security footage playing. Bank statements appearing. Evidence files opening. The same presentation style that had convicted countless fraudsters. Emma's father stepped forward, watching the financial records scroll. "These payments," he said slowly, "all coming from your father's accounts?" Michael's perfect facade cracked completely, his carefully constructed world dissolving one notification chime at a time. Because in forensic accounting, the most devastating moment isn't finding the fraud. It's watching the fraudster realize they've been exposed. The kill switch program completed its sequence. Final notifications sent, last accounts canceled. The same thoroughness that had dismantled international fraud schemes. Michael stood alone, his lies exposed, his performance ended. His audience now witnesses to his ultimate humiliation. Because sometimes, the best revenge isn't about anger or violence. It's about letting someone's own deception become their downfall.
The exposure phase unfolded with the same precision that had characterized my entire FBI career. The great room's television displayed financial record after financial record. Each transaction, each transfer, each lie documented in perfect detail. Michael stood frozen as his carefully constructed world crumbled around him. Emma's father, a successful businessman himself, moved closer to the screen. $78,000 annual allowance, he read aloud. $112,000 in credit card debt. All paid by your father. The security cameras captured every reaction, every shocked face, every whispered comment, just like surveillance footage from our biggest financial cases. Emma stepped away from Michael, her designer engagement ring catching the light. "The ring," I said quietly, "purchased with my emergency credit card, $18,000 at Tiffany's." The evidence continued mounting. Security footage showing Michael giving tours of his lodge, audio recordings of his practice speeches, bank statements revealing the truth behind his success. The same methodical exposure that had brought down corporate fraud rings. "The police," Mr. Anderson said suddenly. "You called them to evict your own father from his own home." The officers shifted uncomfortably, their body cameras still recording, adding to my collection of evidence. Michael tried one last performance. "Dad's twisting everything," he stammered. "I built this life myself." That's when I activated the final evidence file. Footage from yesterday, Michael rehearsing his speech, practicing my humiliation, calling me parasite while standing in the home I'd bought. The same kind of damning evidence that had sealed countless federal cases. Emma's mother gasped, her father's face hardened. The other guests moved away from Michael, creating a visible circle of shame. The same isolation we'd seen in convicted fraudsters. "The wedding is off," Emma announced, pulling off the ring, letting it fall to the floor, the sound echoing through the silent room. Just like the notification chimes that had started everything. Because in forensic accounting, the most powerful evidence isn't just the numbers. It's watching the truth dawn on everyone at once. Michael's perfect world had disappeared. His fake success exposed, his lies unveiled. All through the same techniques I'd used to expose financial crimes for 35 years. Because sometimes, The best justice isn't about punishment. It's about letting someone's own actions reveal their true character. The next 48 hours unfolded exactly as 3 decades of financial investigation experience had taught me to expect. The mountain lodge emptied quickly that Christmas Eve. Guests departing. Evidence preserved. Security footage archived. Just like closing a major federal case. Michael left with nothing. His fake life dismantled. His lies exposed. His future uncertain. The Andersons handled everything professionally. Emma returned all gifts, canceled all arrangements, removed every trace of the failed engagement. The same thoroughness I'd seen in corporate damage control. The police filed their report. Property ownership confirmed. Attempted fraudulent eviction documented. Their body camera footage added to my evidence files. The same comprehensive documentation we'd used at the FBI. My security systems recorded Michael's final exit. 1 suitcase, no car, no phone, no credit cards. Everything canceled by the kill switch program. Everything built on lies now stripped away. The forensic accounting community responded with professional appreciation. My kill switch program becoming a case study. My methods taught in seminars. The same way we'd shared successful operation techniques. The lodge feels different now. Peaceful. The security system still active, force of habit from decades of service. But now they protect truth instead of exposing lies. Former colleagues visit often, discussing old cases, sharing techniques, analyzing how one father's expertise had exposed his son's deception. Michael writes emails from public computers, asking forgiveness, seeking help. But some betrayals go too deep. Some lessons need time to sink in. The Andersons stayed in touch, respecting my expertise, appreciating my methods, understanding that exposing their daughter's lying fiancé was a professional courtesy. Every morning, I still check my security feeds, review the cameras, monitor the systems. Old habits from a lifetime of tracking financial fraud. But now, I sleep peacefully, knowing that justice, like forensic accounting, requires patience, precision, and the wisdom to let people's own numbers tell their story. Because sometimes, the greatest victory isn't in the punishment, it's in showing others that age and experience will always triumph over greed and deception.